साथ इस वक्त हैं नागावली। नागावली से हम बात करना शुरू करें उससे पहले थोड़ा सा उनके बारे में बताना चाहूंगी। शी इज रैंक्ड अमंग द टॉप 10 फीमेल वोकल एंड वर्ल्ड म्यूजिक आर्टिस्ट एट द 2015 and 16 Austin Music Awards. But believe me, even if it's given in Austin, I totally agree with you, and I'm sure after listening to her voice, you would agree with me as well. Nagavalli's honest and powerful voice leaves you totally mesmerized the moment it touches your ears. And last night I heard this one particular song that I'll be playing for you after we speak to Naga Valli in a while. That song, In Your Love, and it just left me speechless. Western notes, language, but Eastern melody, and such charming fusion I've never heard. And that's Naga Valli for you. We'll be hearing a lot of other songs sung by her on Radio Karishma on a regular basis now. Today we have her with us, and let me tell you that she's going to be performing on the opening night of Indie Meme's first film festival in Austin. So looking forward to hear her live as well. But right now, it's a great pleasure to have you live here on Radio Karishma. How are you doing, Naga Valli?
I'm doing good. Karishma, thank you so much for the kind and warm welcome. It was a very sweet introduction that you just gave me there.
Wow, you deserve every bit of it. Absolutely. I'm your hugest fan nowadays. You know, I've heard your songs like ever since I started listening to them. I absolutely can't stop listening to them. And I'm sure once we start playing on our radio, and I'm sure there are a lot of people who would agree with me on that. First of all, I would like to ask you, you were originally from Mumbai, and you speak at your mother tongue is Telugu, and then you speak Hindi and English and singing in different languages. How has been the musical journey so far from Mumbai to Austin? Please tell us.
Yeah. So I grew up learning Carnatic classical music from the time I was about 7 years old. Mm-hmm. And at the time I was 12, I also started learning Hindustan classical music, both of them in Mumbai. My father used to teach in the IIT Bombay campus.
Okay.
I just lost him last year. And so I pretty much learned with teachers who would either were visiting the campus or, just outside the campus. And so I learned both styles of classical music. And at some point, of course, I came to the U.S. for pursuing graduate school. And I knew that I was going to perform and, keep up with music in some form. I just didn't know what it was going to be. And when I got this job offer in Austin, I moved here, and I had an idea that this place was known as the live music capital of the world, but I had no clue how to, get around to actually start playing here, make the connection. And initially I started playing with really talented world music artist here, Oliver Rajamani. I used to sit in with him every once in a while. Go back to my job, come back in 3-4 months for another show, sing a little bit more with him. But after a while, I was just yearning to do more, almost to the point where I started getting pretty restless. Mm-hmm. And I didn't quite know in India, as a singer, you generally learn other people's songs, right? I mean, you generally learn something that your teacher has taught you, a bhajan or a movie song or some semi-classical composition, and just sing that, of course, in your own style, but I didn't have a whole concept of songwriting necessarily when I was in India, and even the first couple of years in Austin. But then so after spending a couple of years here, I wrote my first song, and it came out as this, it was in English because that's the language I'm capable of writing a song in, and initially, when I was writing the melodies, just in the very beginning, I was a little apprehensive about letting these Eastern, melodies and overtones sneak in because that's the,
that's the music we understand, basically.
That comes from, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so I had to, and I started playing it to one of, the jazz musicians and teachers in town, and she really played a role in encouraging me to put my music out, and it just, was important that, that I stay authentic and true to where I come from, both musically and just my experiences. and stay true to that in my songwriting and music as well. So I just decided to go with the style of music that I write, and I call it Eastern Soul now. And I started, having played with a couple of other artists, I slowly started building a band together and picked up a couple of venues in town. The whole idea of playing in a club or even a listening room was pretty foreign to me. Even though I was coming from Mumbai, but you still sang in an auditorium or a whole house concert or something, but not in a club or a listening room right in town. So that took a little getting used to, and but yeah, slowly I built up. Just kept playing more shows. I recorded a debut album in 2012, also titled at Eastern Soul. And this year I just started, I just put a new single out, and I'm planning to release a couple more songs.
Absolutely. And your album is very rightfully called Eastern Soul. And the song that I talked about, In Your Love, is absolutely, I've never heard, see, I had my apprehensions, or I have my reservations against, Indians who've learned in Indian music. Somehow, the language, even if we speak in English at home, but somehow that language doesn't come naturally to us. So when somebody sings, the Indian artists, when they sang in English, I somehow could not connect with that. I always had this restless feeling that, why are they not singing in Hindi? Why are they singing in English? But when I heard you and the way you were just, आप इंग्लिश में एक्चुअली ताने ले रहे थे, जैसे आपका वो गाना चलता है, it is so charming.
निकल रहा है तो क्या करें?
हाँ?
अब गले से तान ही निकल रहा है तो क्या करें?
हाँ, एग्जैक्टली. सो वो हमारी म्यूजिक है जिसको हम जो हमारे सोल में बसी हुई है, रग रग में है, उसको हम निकाल नहीं सकते. बट देन द वे यू हैव यूज्ड इट इन द इंग्लिश म्यूजिक इज इन द इंग्लिश वर्ड्स you've used in that melody is absolutely wonderful, and it's totally very unique. That's how I saw it, and congratulations for doing something, achieving something unique, which is totally yours. I don't think if anybody has done that from Indian side.
Thank you. That's very kind of you. I feel like I've just not heard like everything that an Indian musician might have done out there. So, I don't claim uniqueness, but it was one of those things again. Yes, because I can't sing a straight note if I wanted to, right? If I could make it straight and make it sound very much like Western music, but it just didn't. It didn't even make sense after a point to try to change it or even go in that direction, because I think the beauty that our music has, it's just so amazing. So why not?
Absolutely.
Why not use it? And the only thing that I do try, actually don't try rather, I don't intellectualize what I'm writing or the melodies that I'm composing. I don't try to create fusion. I let it flow the way it comes, because fusion is very tricky, I think, and that's where, and I say this with a lot of humility, is I think that's where sometimes even the best of musicians will create fusion. It still seems forced, because somehow you're forcing two instruments, foreign instruments together, or
they use very cliched instruments, cliched words, a cliched style. So, just to make it sound fusion. I totally understand what you're trying to say. I feel the same.
Right. So I've never, at least, so far, attempted to create fusion. I write songs in English. The reason I sing in English is that's somehow the language that I can express myself as far as songwriting goes. And one thing with Indian languages is, I know spoken Telugu really well. I can read, write, and Hindi pretty well. But I don't have the language to compose songs in Hindi or Telugu, to be very honest, right? My thought process and everything, that happens a little more in English for whatever reasons. And I'm just capable of writing songs, much easily in English. But then then after writing a couple of songs, I also realized that this would be such a beautiful way to introduce an Indian sound. And I know a lot of people have done it in their own ways, but I figured that this is my way to introduce an Indian sound,
Absolutely.
also to a Western audience, in a very kind of an easy listening format.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you realize that, like yourself, there may be some other artists that will come up or, get inspired by you. And then, of course, there are other countries, musicians as well from the eastern side, from different, since America is like, all kinds of culture come in and they bring in their music and, style and everything. So American music will be very different in like coming 10 to 20 years, you feel so? I mean, the sound will be fusion of so many different sounds and melodies,
Definitely, because you already, just in within Austin, right? You see a lot of world music artists and the music that they're creating. It's such a melting pot, right? Of
Absolutely.
people from different cultures and different musical backgrounds, and a lot of playing, people playing with each other and sharing ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's the way forward, right? And
Absolutely.
Decade after decade, the music evolves. And, my thing is, as long as we're staying authentic, I don't know if I can do the best job explaining that, but staying authentic and truthful to yourself. And I think, however, when the music comes out, I think it will be beautiful.
Yes, absolutely. Well said, Nagavalli. And that brings me to Indie Meme's first film festival. The group Indie Meme has done exactly the same. They, the kind of work they have done, especially bringing international cinema and cinema with the social messaging. They started here in Dallas, screenings, single movies, and then now they are coming up with the same kind of dedication and passion for something good. Ladies have come up with their first film festival, and it itself is a proud moment for your Indian women of Texas. And then you are performing there in this very special event, opening night, Friday night. Tell us more about that.
I believe it's an opening night party for the South Asian Film Festival that Indie Meme is bringing over this weekend on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And it's going to be attended by some of these, there are some filmmakers in attendance whose movies are being showcased. And as well as the general audience that would have the pleasure to watch all these movies here. And it is such a treat because, most of the times, you will end up seeing the more popular Bollywood movies and whatnot. They get screened around in town. But I've not seen this kind of an event specifically from, the South Asian diaspora happen in Austin. And I think the Indian folks, I know Alka Bhanet personally, and they've just been working very hard to bring this event here. And I'm hoping that a lot of people will avail of this opportunity as well as go and support this group. I'll be playing with my band, and I will be mixing it up as usual. They're doing a lot of Eastern Soul originals, and my band is mostly American, and they love to play Bollywood. So sometimes we go and play, at the end of the set, we will throw in something like Carrubba and one or two songs from Bollywood. And it's amazing because my musicians don't know the language, but they do such an amazing job playing the songs.
So we look forward for that complete package of entertainment, right? From your original songs to, fusion music and then Bollywood as well.
Absolutely. And I am right now trying to clear up my calendar so I can also catch some of the movies. I think that's something I'll figure out in the next couple of days.
Absolutely. Such amazing movies they're showing and some really good selection. And they are like hand-picked movies, They have worked very hard to even select the movie. And it's a great pleasure, actually, to see a lot of talented women coming together, And what a wonderful thing that you get to start the opening night, A tribute from a woman to woman.
It's an honor to be doing that, yes.
Absolutely. Really looking forward, Nagavalli, to hear you live. I'll be there as well, and it's
wonderful.
Yes. That'll be yes. Looking forward to see you. And before we go, you have just released a new single, "Reach Out."
Yes.
Tell us more about that. And we'll be playing that later as well in the program. That single.
Yeah. So "Reach Out" is a song that I wrote in just this December. And I was taking a short break from playing, and it's just melodically, it's once again in the Eastern Soul style of music. Lyrics mostly in English, or actually all in English, and then you'll hear a lot of Eastern overtones in the melodies. The song itself, it was a bit of a tough one. It speaks to kind of loneliness creeping in during the winter season. I was especially dealing with the loss of my father last year, and it just just the sadness of it all really got to me during the holiday. And that's when I wrote the song, because I almost needed somebody to be with me to just through the whole thing. I guess I also felt the need to write that song to basically for everyone, anybody out there who might be feeling lonely or missing somebody that they loved, or just somebody just away from home, like I am too. So it was kind of a shout out. It was kind of a reassurance to anybody out there that was feeling alone or lonely, rather, that there is somebody who understands. There is somebody who will be there for them. So that's where the song came from. Arrangement-wise, we really try to keep it really simple and soulful, and I work with a Latin rock singer actually, and he's also a producer here in town, very well-known producer, AJ Vallejo, and we both. He was my co-producer on the song, and we recorded it and put it out on March 21st. And I like the idea of going to the studio, recording the song as it comes, and being able to release it. So I might do a couple more like that this year.
Oh, okay. So you like recording the song, or you like to perform live? Which one is your favorite thing? And you've sung a lot of genres of music, like bhajans to, as you said, light music, and then your own music and some fusion. What is your favorite? Or what do you like to sing the most?
I like them all. That's the thing. I think especially here, if when in the Western music scene or the pop rock scene, I think it's very. Sometimes you can get really specific to or to genres. I think maybe it's got something to do with growing up as a vocalist in India, where the more versatile you are, the better it is, right? So I love all of those. I am actually completing an album of meditative bhajan music to be released later this year. And I have it's a kind of a slow meditative album but I've done bhajans from by Kabir Das, and a lot of chants in the beginning of that album.
Wow.
So I love that. I love singing bhajans because it just takes you to a different place, and it's very peaceful. There is a certain joy that comes out of being able to just sit down and sing bhajans. Recording is different because I really can't pick, because recording is you're creating music and it's coming alive in the studio.
Correct.
And I almost have a childlike joy when if you look at me, it's almost silly.
Yeah.
I just have this childlike joy when something cooks in the studio, right? So it's beautiful in its own way, and then of course performing on stage, it's with a full band, and so musicians are a lot of them tend to be jazz musicians, and even otherwise, but they're a real talented bunch of people, and it's an instant connection with the audience, right?
Correct.
And that's what you hope for is when you're singing, if you can make that connection, even with a few songs, but even with one song with somebody in the audience when you're performing live, it's a very beautiful thing.
Yes. So that's wonderful. In the end, would you like to give a message to all the aspiring singers who might just get inspired by you, motivated by you, the way you have made your mark, and you have created something unique and beautiful?
I would say that do your thing. Don't be discouraged by what somebody says about it, or what if this doesn't work out or that doesn't work out. It's taking action, because I don't come necessarily, I grew up in Bombay. It's a very cosmopolitan place, but I still don't come from a place necessarily where, doing what I do right now is still that common. I'll give you a very, and my parents are not conservative at all, right? But I'll still give you a very like a silliest example where I had a photo shoot done with this whole band full of guys, and I was the only woman sitting in between. And I had a couple of relatives freak out back in India about it. So, yes, right?
Totally understand.
And I was much younger too then, and it was not easy to deal with that kind of feedback. So that, right? And then somebody will come and say, oh, there could be somebody who will say, oh, why are you singing in this style? You're better in this other style. So, but the thing is, it's important to just stay true to yourself. Do what feels right, what feels authentic. And I think if you have authenticity and truth in what you do, you will define.
Absolutely wonderful. Well said. Lovely message, and I'm sure people who are listening to us will definitely get the message. And basically, is the key. Just be honest to yourself. Nagavalli's voice has that honesty. As soon as you hear the voice, you totally understand, and it's just the pure soul and power of the voice, because it comes from you and it reflects in your voice. I'm giving you that compliment from bottom of my heart. Well, good luck. It was lovely talking to you, Nagavalli, and look forward to hear you live and meet you in person. And keep making music, keep creating albums, just make it to the top and make all of us proud.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on your show today. I hope your listeners enjoy my music as well, and I so look forward to seeing you this week.
Absolutely. Pleasure. Thank you so much. You have a good night, Nagavalli, and we'll be playing your songs back to back, In Your Love, followed by Reach Out, here only on Radio Karishma. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much, Nagavalli.
A very good night to all your listeners.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Something in the rain, something in the rain. You call my name, Something